been on Zoom in ages.
Probably since we did this the last time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So are you gonna do some magic?
Should I do some magic?
If we don't get anybody to play along, it's gonna be back to like you two versus each other.
Conrad will kick my butt, but that would be fun.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It is running on YouTube right now, so
Yep.
yeah, it is. Anyways,
I see it. Yep.
I see it.
Two watching.
Joel.
Oh, there.
Yo.
Yeah, the link's in the chat in case you want to tab over to the YouTube thing, but well, yeah, it's there.
It says two watching, but is that Joel and
it might just be the two of us. I don't know. I put it everywhere, so we'll see what happens. Maybe people started giving up because we took so long.
Here's my first trick.
But I'm recording. Oh God.
Whoa.
Wow. Look out. That's awesome.
I mean, that was worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah. Well, we're recording this, on Zoom. Yeah. I'll have the recording anyway. So people can go back, and I get on the YouTube, it'll like save on the YouTube channel as well. So anyways, let's just talk. So how's life?
Good. Busy.
Yeah. Oh, this is my, shoot. See, now you guys talk for a minute because I see what Conrad's got on. Hold on.
What do I got on? Oh, I got on. Yeah, I got my, this is my Ska shirt.
Sure. That's a pretty cool shirt. 1 month till not Croydon.
Yeah, Conrad, 1 month. Less than a month. No, first one. Looking forward to that. Some of the people that I met at Wake and Bake will be at Croydon as well. So that's going to be really good.
Not Croydon is incredible. It's a club fest. Club fests are my favorite. They're just, it's so easy to come and go, and there's no hassles. There's no long lines.
Right. Very chill.
Oh, the Croydon. Yeah.
Are you going to be there, Darren? That's a no.
Thinking about it. I'm not good with like 9-hour drives. For a lot of bands I've seen a couple times, but it'd be just the experience. Maybe I'll just fly into somewhere. I'm flying
to
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And then
if you do go, I have an extra ticket. So let me know, because I'm looking to.
That's what Eric G told me too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably end up not. Yeah, I'd probably go Saturday, Sunday, and take Monday off to just come back.
Yeah.
Well,
what happened is I purchased one in the summer, and I didn't realize that in October, and I purchased another one. That's the problem when they put tickets on sale that far in advance. I've done it a few times.
Yeah, I told my wife, when a festival is about a month away, because everybody starts selling tickets.
Yep.
And then everybody starts talking lodging.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And I've fallen into that trap before. Like, there'll be an announcement, and I'll just buy the ticket, whether I know for certain I can make the show in 8 months.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was early bird, right? That's how they get me. So I bought it so long ago.
Yeah, well, I actually had a ticket to the Mighty Mighty Bosstones' second to last show ever. Of course, I didn't know it was their second to last show.
Right.
But the problem was it was in Durango, which is impossible to get to. Have you ever looked up the logistics to try to get to Durango?
No.
Basically, you got to fly into Denver, and then you got to drive 3 hours to the middle of nowhere.
It sounds impossible. That's
you can pay for another like a tiny flight. Like, it would basically just be like a 30-seat plane or something.
Yeah. I did that on the way to Gainesville. It was like a 60-seat plane. I didn't feel too safe. But I do have an interesting story from that. So Wake and Bake was 2 weeks ago now. So I fly into Charlotte from Detroit, and then I get on this little tiny plane, about maybe 50, 60 people.
Yeah. Puddle jumper.
Yeah, exactly. Charlotte to Gainesville, which is it was only an hour. I think they said 56 minutes. So I sit down, and I have a Less Than Jake sweatshirt on, and this lady an older lady, like, older than 75 years old, I would say. She says, "Oh, that's a nice sweatshirt." She goes, "You going to Wake and Bake?" I said, I am. I said, oh, I said, are you going to Wake and Bake? She said, I'm Chris's mom from Less Than Jake.
Wow.
Oh,
I
really?
said, you're
You're
kidding.
kidding.
So, and she's like, look, and his brother Todd sitting up front, like there. I said, oh yeah, I've seen Todd before. And then, so I talked with her for about the whole way there, like about an hour. I felt like I was interviewing her. I felt like I was I was Howard Stern doing an interview. And because I was asking her all these questions, and she was wonderful. She was amazing. She was just showing me all these pictures and just telling me about, some of the history. I had some questions because I had said to her, what did you think when he called, 6 months in or however long in the first year of being at the University of Florida, meets Roger and, says, I'm going to do this music thing. She said, well, we went down there and we listened to a couple of songs and we actually thought they sounded pretty bad. And he said, well, give me a year is what he told his mom and dad. And, the rest is history. But, it was very early on. I said, well, what was he studying if if this music thing hadn't worked out? She said, she rolled her eyes and said, supposedly journalism, but she wasn't convinced. Let's just say that. But, here we are 33 years later. And I think those guys have done fine for themselves.
Well, yeah.
But you realize how long it's been. I'm like, wow, over 3 decades for that band.
Yeah. That was a good show at Smalls,
Yeah, it was excellent. And Wake and Bake was equally excellent, if not better, because you got to hear some deep tracks. And that's my favorite band. So it was great to hear some of those songs that they don't normally play.
Yeah. So
Yes, I give you some sabotage.
I dropped in the chat before you joined, Joel. I was saying the best movie soundtrack ever is from the movie Meet the Deedles. Do you even know that movie, Joel?
So I know the movie only because my dad picked it off a shelf, years and years ago, brought it home, and we're like, what are we watching here?
Yeah, your dad must have not liked you.
Well, we have some legendary movies to this day that are just bad movies, but we saw them as kids and some of them liked. And you know what? Oddly enough, they usually had really weird soundtracks and songs and things that like stuck in our heads.
And people always think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I saw this movie the first day it came out, 1998. Only because I knew that I saw a video for the Mighty Mighty Bosstones had a song in it, and they did a video for it. They're like kind of like the lead, I don't know, band, if you want to call it, for this movie. And which is weird because they only play I think they play their song in the credits, if I'm not mistaken. But this soundtrack is the opposite of the movie. Mighty Mighty Bosstones are on there, Dancehall Crashers, Goldfinger, Cherry Poppin' Daddies, Hepcat, Safe Fares. I mean, you name it. Homie, which is like Rivers Cuomo from Weezer. It's got a killer soundtrack. So if you've never listened to it, definitely check it out because there are some tracks on there by these bands that you've never heard. And one of the Mighty Mighty Bosstones track is called "Wrong Thing Right Then." It's one of my favorite Bosstones songs.
I will check it out.
Definitely do it. I think I got a copy of that CD here somewhere.
I'd love to see like deep interview of how that movie ended up with that soundtrack, because one or two people had to like hijack it and be like, this is the direction we're going, and they somehow convinced everybody.
For sure. I would like to know that too, because I'm thinking this was around the time when Basketball came out, and I'm like, I wonder if the person who did that soundtrack was in any way affiliated with this movie. It was around the same time.
So yeah, so we're talking about bands. So Conrad was, I put that in the Facebook chat, right? Do you think that you have Conrad, I forget which top 5 would you have a handle on bands?
Well, I kind of, I gave my number 1 away.
I'll have to send you my digital signature copy and see if you can copy it.
Who are we listening to? Do you guys hear that?
I
Or
do.
is it just me? Oh, okay.
I think it's at Joel's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my volume just dropped. Did something happen?
I'm saying we can hear what's. I was like, somebody was talking.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I didn't realize it was so loud. Let me close the door here.
Oh, yeah. So what? Top 5 albums. You definitely.
Well, I thought I was going top 5 bands.
Bands. Okay, no particular order.
Like I said, I already blew it with the number one for me is Less Than Jake. So I'm going third. This is all third wave bands. I mean, I think I could group it in waves, but if we want to just go,
is this 1 to 5 in that order?
Well, I'll go 5 to 1, but you already know my number 1.
So, but I mean, you're tiering them, or this is no particular order except your 2.
No, this is an order.
Okay,
so I'm going to start from 5.
These
are all third wave bands. It's so hard to just say which 5. There are so many other bands, but these are the bands when I was growing up, I was most influenced by, because this is at a time when I was playing with my band. So it's pretty much all third wave.
So
I'd say number 5 for me is Catch-22. Definitely. Not Streetlight, but Catch-22.
Right.
Even though I believe it's only 3 or 4 albums, maybe 3 in a live album. It's not like deep discography, but very influential, impactful. I think a lot of people would agree. Number 4, Real Big Fish. Definitely.
Okay.
Again, it's just at the time when I was coming up, we were playing a lot of these songs. Definitely heavily influenced. We had trumpet in our band, which was a big thing. Often you see trombone, but so definitely Real Big Fish. Number 3, Goldfinger. Goldfinger, no question. I was a huge John Feldman fan. I am still to this date. Oh, you know what? I don't have it here, but I got a quick John Feldman story. I still have this ticket stub from St. Andrews Hall. I want to say back then it cost maybe $10. Went to see Goldfinger, and I always wanted to dye my hair back then what I called Goldfinger white, just like John Feldman. And so after the show, I saw him and I was like, what do you use to dye your hair? And he wrote on this ticket stub, and I still have it. I have it upstairs actually. And he wrote, what it is that he uses on there. And I'd sent it to Charlie Paulson, the guitar player in Goldfinger, a couple of years ago. He's like, has Feldy seen this? I'm like, no, probably not. I said, oh, next time maybe we cross paths. But then I realized that he had light hair, so that's why he was able to get his hair so white. I had very dark.
Yeah,
it was so it wasn't quite the same thing.
Yeah, I bleached my hair yellow.
Oh yeah. Oh, I went eyebrows were orange, I believe. I think for a good 7-year period. I remember the first time it adds like, well, you can just don't plan on going anywhere with me. So when I kind of showed up and didn't tell anyone I was going to do that, many years ago, that's what kids were doing. They're still doing it today.
Oh yeah, it was like highlighter, but I just put
the
thing in my hair.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was killing my hair, leaving the stuff in there for like hours at a time. Paying for it now. Number 2, I will say the Suicide Machines. We're from this area, Detroit, Michigan, Detroit, Windsor area. So, definitely hold a special place in all of our hearts, I would think. But Suicide Machines, I've been going to see them since I was probably 15, 16 years old. We're all friendly with those guys, just very influential, impactful. Still to this day, when I was at Wake and Bake, so many people were coming up to the guys there, just like talking about going to see them years ago and just thanking them for still doing it now. Yeah. Those guys are great guys that can never give enough thanks. And then number 1, Less Than Jake. Less Than Jake was so my first show ever was Weezer at the State Theater before it became the Fillmore when I was about 15 years old.
Oh,
but my second show, my sister had a Goldfinger CD. I didn't know anything about it at the time. 96, self-titled. And she said, oh, you want to go to the show at St. Andrews Hall? I'm like, what is it? What's St. Andrews Hall? All that kind of stuff. Like, had no idea. So I went with her, and there was this band that opened up, and it was Less Than Jake. And so that was a really great show. It was Less Than Jake and Goldfinger, and they were only a band for maybe 4 years. at that point.
Okay.
I remember purchasing Losers, Kings, and Things We Don't Understand, which is like a B-side record. And then ever since then, just been nonstop fan. I don't know. I'm close to 100. Less than Jake shows probably in 20. I don't have an exact number, but in 29 years or whatever it is. And then having to go to Wake and Bake again was a big deal because there was all these people I've talked to for years online. They call themselves the Jumblers. I guess I consider myself a Jumbler now. And so got to meet all those people. And it's just like a very tight knit kind of group. And yeah, so it kind of came like full circle after 3+ decades. So that's my list. I want to hear from you guys.
All right. Well, Joel, you want to go
list.
or do you want me to go?
Thank you.
I mean, why don't you go? It's going to be hard for me. I always joke that I have 10 bands in my top 5.
Yeah. Well, it's very difficult, but yeah.
So I was writing this down because let's see. I have how about a top 8? But no.
Well, now you've changed the parameter.
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
Like the last time I did that, right? I was changing the rules to the our trivia. No. Yeah, we are gonna do the 5 and then some honorable mentions that would go below number 5. Okay.
Sure.
So it's tough. It really. I go based on I guess how many songs I enjoy from each band, and also how many how many songs I enjoy from each band and over multiple albums and just lyrics and stuff that I know, right? I mean, that's basically probably our criteria, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But I mean, I would say, coming in at number 5, I would say Goldfinger.
I like it.
And I mean, I'm sure all of you probably are not surprised by any of this. Number 4, I would put Less Than Jake.
Okay.
Number 3, Mustard Plug.
Yes.
Number 2, The Suicide Machines. And then number 1 is
Dance Hall Crashers.
Operation Ivy.
Oh man. Yeah, right. I mean, you're joking, obviously. None other than The Real Big Fish.
Yes.
Really, number 1?
I'm
sorry,
Joel, because Aaron Barrett is a genius with his self-deprecating lyrics. And if you listen to that album, Why Do They Rock So Hard?
Yes. I could have guessed that, and I should have guessed that. I knew that, Darren, because you and Aaron Barrett seem to be the same way with the self-deprecating humor. And Aaron Barrett is he doesn't get talked enough about as being, he's an incredible guitar player.
Oh yeah. I agree with that.
Really is.
Yeah. He's better than people realize. I agree with that.
Oh yeah.
In this genre, he's a great songwriter, but he is a phenomenal guitar player.
Oh yeah.
If you listen closely.
Yeah, like Why Do You Rock So Hard, and to a lesser, and then the turn off the radio, and I mean, especially the Rock Your Heart. I mean, if you listen to that, I mean, just I don't know, just all the bits and pieces, 4 different pre-choruses and everything. Oh yeah, I got the live album, and just the dynamics and stuff that go on. I mean, if you really just sit there and listen to the vinyl record that I just got not that long ago, I mean that album is clearly in my top 5 albums of all time.
100%.
Why do they rock so hard?
Why do they? So, I mean, they got several great albums, but that one, when that one came out, I remember vividly, 1997. Yeah, some of the arrangements on there. Is it not 97? I thought it was 97.
I want to say it was 1999.
I'm going to look it up now.
Oh.
That'd be 90. Why do they, while he was looking that
or up, 98.
Why do they rock so hard? Is that the album that has no ska songs?
98. Yeah, 98. What do you mean no ska song?
There's one album. There's one album that they have where, I'm not kidding you, there's no ska songs on it at all. They're not ska. They're great. It's great.
No, that's not this one.
Okay. I don't remember which one it is, but But
so I'm gonna just correct myself. Maybe I don't remember so vividly, but I do remember the year 1998. But this album, yes, I played this album over and over again. This is when my band was playing. We were covering
This album right here.
Yes, that is the one. And I got to tell you, one song that I mean, I love all the songs on there, but one song I really like that people often disagree with me. Oh, I love that. Song 3 with Cooley. I love song 3. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Of that? It's a great song, right?
It is.
But when
Real Big Fish.
That album's title, the first track hits you like whoever, however they arrange that first song right out of the gate is just incredible.
Somebody hates me.
Oh yeah, right into Brand New Song, right into She's Famous.
I mean, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the way those songs were like put together was magic.
Yep. And
like,
I Want Your Girlfriend to Be My Girlfriend too. Some of the arrangements in there. It's a phenomenal album. That was when they were on Mojo, and they had the same producer as Goldfinger at that time, and that's why. And Pilfers were on Mojo at that time. That's why Cooley's on there.
Yeah.
John Avila, I think, was producer on those.
Hey, yeah. So, and we don't have to like really, talk about any of these other ones, but yeah, I just put like, after Goldfinger number 5, I would, I have like the Slackers and the Planet Smashers and MU330.
If we're throwing in honorable mentions, I do want to mention Mad Caddies. Mad Caddies for sure is an honorable mention. And if you want to throw them in a little more punk than ska, I would say Rancid.
Right. I would put Mad Caddies down in the top, the 10.
Yeah, when I first heard Mad Caddies, Road Rash, and Quality Softcore, those were like that Dixieland horn kind of thing. I'd never really heard in this third wave of ska, and no one really.
The Dixieland, and then they also do like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a pirate shanty.
Yes.
They also do like a sea shanty style. And I don't know what it is, but I think that sea shanty style goes amazing with ska. Flying Raccoon Suit does a shanty style song. So does Something to Do. And sometimes I'll just play those 3 songs back to back to back. And I don't know what it is, but yeah, Mad Caddies,
Mad Caddies rock the plank. That's when they started doing that pirate theme thing. And Weird Beard is a great song out there.
Oh, Weird Beard is fantastic.
In my 10, I'd also put Dancehall Crashers in there, and the Specials and the Scatolites.
Well, and that's what I was thinking.
Pretty much it.
When you first asked, I'm like Specials for sure. I mean,
I think exactly. I think since the bands you just mentioned are on all our lists, we should just take them off, right? Because that's obvious.
Right.
Specials.
There are some that are just goated, and
exactly. I mean,
so we have like 30 minutes, and then Conrad, he has a hard out, or right, you gotta go. So
I do have,
and then we'll do some little trivia stuff and call it a day. So Joe, go ahead. You're 5.
So I'm gonna do mine a little different. This is strictly based on their live shows. I do love to listen to albums, right? I mean, I drive endlessly, and so I listen to albums, and I love Spotify because it just takes me places I would never go.
Right.
Joel, you must change your oil every month, right?
It's amazing how often I change my oil. It's absolutely true. And this month has been crazy. So number 5 is the greatest ska core band that nobody's ever heard of. They're called Land Before Tim out of Chicago.
I have heard of them from you.
Oh, you have? Exactly, from me. Here's what's funny. They dropped one album. I think it came out in like 2017 or something, or maybe even 2014. It is a masterpiece. They dropped this album, and then that's it. They have never made any other music except for maybe like a cover or something here and there randomly. The album is called Skapocalypse Now.
Okay.
But Land Before Tim, number 5, I finally saw them live 4 months ago, and they were incredible.
And where was that?
It was in Chicago I drove by myself 5.5 hours to Chicago.
Oh, wow.
To see 6 bands. 2 of them were punk bands and 4 of them were ska bands. Honestly, the show was incredible. It was Rum and Punch out of Chicago. They're just a fun DIY ska band. Nobody's ever heard of them, but they're a ton of fun. Then there was Public Serpents, Crombies, which, by the way, if you've never seen the Crombies, they are phenomenal bar ska band. Like, that's what I would describe them as.
I have seen them. I saw them at Smalls once.
And then the headliner was Land Before Tim. So, but the other fun thing about that show was Public Serpents had a couple of ladies touring with them, including Little Jessie Dills from a bunch of bands, and Sarah Harwood. She's from the Operators in a bunch of bands. She's on sax. Little Jessie Dills is on trumpet. And what was fun is those ladies not only played with Public Serpents, but they stuck around and played with the Crombies as well.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So they were jumping on stage and they were on the dance floor, and it was just a great party. So Land Before Tim, everybody's got to listen to them. I'm trying to get them to play a show in Michigan this year.
I was going to say, we need them in Detroit. Maybe
I'm trying so hard. They're very unmotivated. They probably play 1 or 2 shows a year.
Unmotivated.
And they never really tell anybody about the shows. Like, I find out about the shows
how did you find that? Yeah. Well, you know what, though? If they're in Chicago, we're not that far. So I think it's doable.
Absolutely. It really is. And they're a really fun bunch of people. And that's what I would sell them on is, oh, we got all these people. They're going to love you. We'll take care of your lodging and your food. Cause that's the other problem, of course, when you get
right.
a ska band.
Do they want to sleep in Canada?
Maybe we'll see. Number 4, Planet Smashers. They're just unbelievable. Like, they are the ultimate ska party band. I'm telling you what. They're trombonist. If all the ska trombonists fought on stage, I think that their trombonist would come out as the winner. That guy's amazing. He's got a huge beard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, good to see him in May in London, Ontario.
Yep. Well, I think
that's right. Exactly. I'm going too, and I'm going the next night to Toronto. You going?
Oh, are you? No, I'm not going to Toronto. Are you going to Toronto there?
No, I'm going to go back.
Yeah, I think there's 4 of us that are going to go to both shows.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Number 3, Hub City Stompers.
Yes, and they're going to be at Croydon. This is not Croydon Fest 6.
Yes, they will. And kind of the same thing with them. Like, they're like this. They're almost like a bar ska band. I mean, they're bigger than that. They look great on a big stage, but I don't know what it is. You put them on like a bar stage and they rile up the crowd. Sometimes too much, but they're so fun. And the personalities in that band are incredible. Travis might be the best lyricist in ska. Jenny Whiskey, badass.
I do love Jenny Whiskey.
Reggae Bob. I mean, he's their bass player. He might not talk a lot, but if you get a chance to talk to him, great guy. And then of course their guitarist. I can't remember his name. He's married to Jenny Whiskey, but apparently he's been in Dokken. Like, that guy's had mainstream success in the past. And so they're just a ton of fun. And then this one will kind of shock you. Live bands again. Mephistopheles.
This is number 2.
This is number 2.
Got it.
Also, this is not Croydon Fest 6 band.
Yeah. So their Mephistopheles is almost an entire genre just by themselves. Like, they're like a ska, of course, but they're like jazz.
Sure. Oh, sure.
And like, I don't know what other word I'm looking for, but their music, like it like a jazz song, it just goes in directions you didn't imagine it would go. And you can skank hard to them, or you can love them because they're jazz. And then their lead singer Andre, he's a brilliant artist beyond being a ska lead singer.
Yeah.
And then of course number 1, it goes without saying, Booyah.
Mustard Plug.
There we go.
The greatest ska punk band, not punk ska band, greatest punk ska band. It's probably the Suicide Machines.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ska punk.
I agree.
Exactly, because they're pure punk, and like we're just blessed that they play some ska songs.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what?
Yes.
I think I'm going to have to change my, it's going to have to be Mustard Plug as my number 2.
Well,
I'm going to have to
it's
drop
hard. It's hard.
down to number 3.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And now you guys are saying that. And I'm like, how did I not have Mustard Plug even when I had an honorable mention? It's like they're right there in the top 5, 6 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of the reason I love Mustard Plug is because, and they'll even tell you the story, but they're just regular guys who love ska.
Yeah.
And they weren't necessarily singers or musicians. They were just like, hey, we love ska. We're gonna like start a band. And they're like, oh, why don't you play trombone? And you don't really play an instrument, so you can sing. Like that's how their band was made.
Is that right? Wow.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, I've known them for, well over 20 years. And
and their ethos is incredible. They still manage to go on probably 4 or 5 big tours every year.
Yeah. So they just finished a tour up, and I'm like, I'm pretty impressed.
They were on a hiatus for a while. They really diminished their shows like years back, but
in the last 5 years, I feel like they've really been all over. And they predate even Less Than Jake. So I believe they're 1991.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a long time, and I think I heard Dave at their last record release show say, we got a new album. It's really hard to put out music as you're getting older, and you're working other jobs and all that kind of thing. So I do credit them for the amount of touring that they do.
Yeah.
Still.
And it's amazing. I mean,
he sells houses.
Exactly. He's a realtor.
Don't they all?
Sure.
So
exactly. They're all either realtors or kitchen,
kitchen.
cooks.
Yeah. Right.
Back kitchen cooks. And I always kind of think about this, like their guitarist, I forget his name. Colin Clive. Thank you.
Yeah.
Super cool dude. Yeah. I'm not sure, or he might be, in terms of living people, he may have played the most upstrokes of any living person. Do the math. Because like you said, Darren, they took a hiatus, but they've been basically playing, 50 shows a year forever. Like any other band that's been around as long as them doesn't play that many shows as they do.
No.
Yeah, and Colin's great too.
And he doesn't age.
No, he doesn't age. I think right he's a vampire.
That. Yep.
I have like a before and after of like a couple of years, like 2 years ago, and then with me and him, like 15 years early. And we like reenacted the shot. Yeah.
It's all the Diet Cokes. Keeps them young.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Well, obviously we have some, overlap with us and stuff. And yeah. Well, hey, we got 19 minutes and then Conrad's got to go.
I do.
Okay.
Well, let's do some Scott trivia.
All right. So you know how this works now. I have to share a screen, then you have to turn around. You can't look.
All right.
So you want us to, I'll tell you what, you tell us when to not look at the screen.
Oof. Now, wait a minute. I got to think of this. Because I was going to just run them on Spotify. And all the songs are there. So, if you both look at the screen the whole time, remember I tabbed it over on YouTube. I'll just do that and have to fire up it's fine.
But again, for the record, Conrad's going to kick my butt. I was adopted into the ska world. Conrad was born into it. Okay,
I don't know. It depends. It depends how old some of this stuff is.
Shoot. All right. I gotta figure out a way here because
I'm not well versed in the let's say 7